Cool. It's a shame about the little dent there, but this is a Laco, as you can see. This is one of the most historic brands on the more affordable end of the watch spectrum. But I've never looked at them before, and there isn't a great deal of YouTube content about them. They reached out, wanted to send me a watch to cover. This is a loan unit, so it will be going back. But I wanted to take a look at this because this particular one's got some kind of unique features, really, and the specs are a lot better than I was expecting. So let's have a closer look. This is quite nice packaging. So this watch costs, I think, €340, and it's the Augsburg 39. And as you can guess from the name, it's supposed to be a 39mm, which is rather unlike these pilot watches typically, which are often pretty huge, like 42mm onwards. And what seemed to impress me with this one is specifications, because for that €340, it's actually automatic, sapphire crystal, steel case. There's the movement in the back of it, which I wasn't expecting for a fairly well-known brand like Laco. And I've just been intrigued to see how these stack up against other like Flieger watches in the budget space, because this design in general is very widespread. Apparently Laco was one of the original companies who produced this design, but there were others too, because it's a military watch, of course. And this is also made in Germany. The first thing I noticed, the strap is pretty narrow. It's quite a narrow lug width considering the appearance of the watch, but I think some of that is just because it's a pilot's watch. Now, I think you can choose whether to have like an anti-reflective coating or not if you buy one of these. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the one without the AR coating, because there's no color change and you do get quite a lot of reflections, as you can see. So I definitely factor that in, but at least it is sapphire, which is good. Case finishing is actually very good. It's a brushed finish, but it's very finely done. Looks great. Not the most complex though. It's brushed all over. The strap feels really good too. Handmade in Germany. Do you like the feeling of that strap? It's very German looking. Again, it's in keeping with the theme. It's not my favorite design, these, but it feels like it'll last, which is the main thing. Shame there's no quick release tabs though. You will need a tool for this, which is a little bit of a pain. So the case rear looks like a snapback 5 ATM, and the movement in here is some sort of Laco movement. It even says that the movement is German on the rotor too. It does look like lots of the other entry-level movements I've seen. Let's see how loud it is. So I'm not sure if you can hear this, but that is loud in a similar fashion to the Miyota 8000s, unfortunately. And it also looks like someone's been inside this. You'll see here, there's some scratches right here, and that's right next to the tiny slit for the snapback. I don't think you can quite see it here, but there is a little slit here for a tool, and there are some marks here. Now, some of that could be because this is like a press sample, basically, but yeah, not quite what you want to see when you open up a new watch. The dial is, well, exactly as you'd expect for this pilot's watch design. Extremely legible. They've done a good job of making the dial extremely matte. I've had a few watches in recently, like field style watches, like the Veya watches, or Ver, I think I'm supposed to pronounce it. And their black dials, they were kind of more dark grey. This one has that extra level of contrast. It's very mattified. Brown is pretty elaborate. They're extremely grippy. Oh. As you adjust the time, that skips 4 seconds. How unusual. Don't know if that's a quirk of the movement or what, but I've never seen that before. Not to that degree anyway. But yeah, I'm most excited really about the proportions of this more than anything else. I mean, looks-wise, it's okay. It's never been my favourite kind of design, this, but I've rarely ever seen one that's small. And that is Bob on 39 wide. Lug to lug also looks short, 45.9, and it's not the thinnest, it's quite chunky. 11.5 with a flat crystal, and then it's a 18mm lug width. Let's see how this looks on the wrist. Now this is the closest my wrist has definitely ever got to fitting one of these pilot style watches, at least these more traditional styled ones, yeah, that actually almost fits me. I mean, it's supposed to be oversized anyway from a functionality perspective. You know, these pilots were supposed to be able to easily see the time in the heat of action. And while I probably would never wear a watch quite this big on my tiny arm, which is 6¼ inches, if the typical sized watches of this style that are normally 42, 43 millimeters don't fit you, this is actually a very viable option for people with bigger wrists than mine, at least from a size perspective. Now surely this thing is going to have some vibrant lume. That's the point of these military style watches. So the initial brightness was very good, but all the markers have faded rather quickly. It's only the hands that have particularly clung on there, so a little bit disappointed in that department. Now Laco does make some much more expensive and supposedly better quality watches than this. This is their basic range and really does what it says on the tin. Nothing super surprising about this one. So yeah, I need to take a look at some of their other designs to really work out if they're a brand I would personally purchase, I think. You'll find this watch affiliate linked in the video description either way, and thanks to Laco for loaning this out.